Chingola chaos. UPND under fire after stones thrown at President HH. Is this protest or lawlessness? Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. I trust your week has been productive and peaceful, unlike the scenes that unfolded yesterday in the mining town of Chingola, Zambia. Today, we bring you a story that has sent shockwaves across the nation. In a town already notorious for its volatile politics and fierce underground mining disputes, the unthinkable happened. The President of the Republic of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, stood before his people to address the devastating fire that had reduced Chingola market to ashes. He came to listen. He came to offer solutions. But what should have been a moment of national unity descended into absolute chaos. Stones rained down from rooftops. The presidential motorcade was pursued by an angry mob. A police vehicle was set ablaze. The head of state was forced to cut short his address and flee for safety. But here's what everyone is asking. Was this a spontaneous eruption of public frustration, or was it something far more calculated? Who were these stone throwers, desperate youths seeking attention, or organized actors with a political agenda? Why did intelligence services fail to detect the brewing storm? And where were the UPND party structures that should have sensed the temperature on the ground? The incident has exposed fractures no one wants to acknowledge. Security lapses. Political complacency. The resurgence of shadowy groups known as Jarabos, small-scale miners who operate outside the law and answer to no one. What happens when a president can no longer address his own people in peace? What does it mean when violence replaces dialogue? And most critically, who benefits when Zambia's stability is thrown into question? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more factual, in-depth coverage of Zambia's most critical political moments. The revelation came to light on Friday, November 8, 2025, in Chingola district on Zambia's Copperbelt province. President Hakainde Hichilema had traveled to Chingola market as part of his community outreach program, specifically to engage with residents affected by a massive fire that had recently destroyed the market, one of the largest trading centers on the Copperbelt. The presidential visit was officially sanctioned and well publicized. At approximately 2 p.m. local time, President Hichilema began addressing a large gathering at Chingola market. The atmosphere initially appeared cordial, with residents listening to the president discuss reconstruction plans and address concerns about the Chingola mine, a contentious issue involving small-scale miners known locally as Jarabos. But around 2:50 p.m., the situation deteriorated rapidly. According to police spokesperson Ray Hamunga, while the president was still addressing the crowd, some unruly individuals began breaking into shops and looting. A group of boys climbed onto the roofs of nearby shops, ostensibly to get a better view of the president. When police intervened for safety reasons, as the roofs were giving way under their weight, the youths resisted and began throwing stones. What happened next shocked the nation. Stones were thrown not just at police, but directly at the stage where President Hichilema stood. The president was forced to cut short his address. For security reasons, he was immediately whisked away and escorted to a landing pad at Chingola Secondary School grounds. But the violence didn't end there. The violent mob followed the presidential motorcade, continuing to throw stones at the vehicles. In the chaos, a police Toyota Land Cruiser, registration number ZP2537B, was set ablaze by rioters. The incident was officially classified as riot and arson by Chingola Central Police Station. By evening, police had restored calm and intensified patrols across the district. But the damage was done, physically, politically, and symbolically. The official police statement, delivered by Police Public Relations Officer Ray Hamunga, laid bare the severity of what had transpired. The Zambia Police Service wishes to inform the general public that a serious incident of riot and arson occurred in Chingola district today, November 8, 2025, at around 1,450 hours at Chingola Market and Chingola Secondary School grounds. Hamunga continued, Chingola Central Police Station received a report of arson from Superintendent Lloyd Kanando, aged 48, a police officer based at Copperbelt Division Headquarters, who reported that a police motor vehicle, a white Toyota Land Cruiser registration number ZP2537B, was burnt by an irate mob that turned riotous during the presidential visit. He went on to describe the sequence. The district earlier in the day received the Republican president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, who was addressing residents at Chewempela Market. At around 1,400 hours, as the president was still addressing the public, some unruly individuals began breaking into and looting shops. Regarding the president's evacuation, Hamunga stated, "For security reasons, the president was safely whisked away and escorted to the landing pad at Chingola Secondary School grounds." However, the violent mob followed the presidential motorcade, throwing stones at vehicles. President Hichilema himself, in a statement posted to social media after the incident, maintained a conciliatory tone. "This afternoon, we took time to address our people in Chingola's Chewempela area following the unfortunate event that saw the biggest market here on the Copperbelt burn to ashes. Our people also raised important issues concerning the mine and their desire to continue mining at Sensili. The message is loud and clear, and we will work round the clock to ensure that this is done." The president added, "We are determined more than ever to turn around our people's lives even amidst these challenges. We shall do so lawfully." But the ruling party's version of events differed significantly in tone. Father Frank Mwila, Director General for Media in the UPND Presidential Support Program, issued a statement dismissing what he called misreporting. The UPND would like to confirm that the event was officially sanctioned and part of the president's continued community outreach program aimed at interacting with citizens and supporting those affected by the recent Chewempela market fire. Mwila's account downplayed the severity. During the engagement, a small group of boys climbed onto the roofs of nearby shops in an attempt to have a clearer view of the president as he addressed the large gathering. However, some of the roofs began to give way under their weight, prompting the police to intervene and instruct the youths to come down for their safety. Unfortunately, the youths resisted and began throwing stones at the police, leading to a brief fracas. Notice the language here, a small group of boys, a brief fracas, terminology that stands in stark contrast to the police description of violent mob and riot and arson. Political analyst Simon Mwila offered a moral perspective on the incident. Throwing stones at the head of state is not protest, it's lawlessness. We must condemn the violence, but we must also confront the truth it reveals. Zambia is hurting. People are struggling. They want to be heard. True leadership requires listening, not just talking. And true citizenship requires restraint, not rage. The Chingola incident has unleashed a wave of analysis, criticism, and soul-searching across Zambian society. The reactions reveal deep divisions about what really happened and what it means for Zambia's future. An editorial in Mafcan FM radio and television pulled no punches in its assessment, titled "A Chaotic Scene in Chingola, a Wake-Up Call for the State and the UPND Party." The unsettling images from Chingola, where a public rally of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema was violently disrupted by a group of unruly youths, demand more than just condemnation. They demand deep introspection from the very institutions tasked with ensuring stability and political order. The editorial highlighted two critical failures. First, an intelligence breakdown. The fact that this disruption was not identified and neutralized before it unfolded in front of the president points to a critical failure. It begs the question, where were our intelligence services? The banality of their performance in Chingola suggests either a dangerous disconnect from the grassroots realities or a complacency that has set in. Second, a political miscalculation. The UPND structures on the Copperbelt led by Mr. Matambo must do serious soul-searching. The failure of the local party machinery to sense the brewing discontent, or the presence of organized elements intent on causing mayhem, is a significant political miscalculation. Another editorial from the People's Brief, titled "Nothing to Celebrate About Chingola's Chaos," took aim at opposition figures who appeared to celebrate the disruption. The disruption of President Hakainde Hichilema's address in Chingola has been greeted with jubilation across segments of the opposition base, but there is nothing patriotic about celebrating disorder. Zambia has survived decades of political competition because we have kept certain civic lines intact. Violence at a presidential function, regardless of who occupies State House, crosses one of those lines. The editorial delved into Chingola's unique political culture. Chingola's political culture is complicated. The Copperbelt has long been shaped by small-scale mining networks, Jarebo influence, and informal power structures that treat state authority as negotiable. Every president from Mwanawasa to Lungu battled this chemistry. Crucially, the analysis warned against short-term political gamesmanship. The same forces that were unleashed at Chingola do not belong to any political party. They shift allegiance based on opportunity and reward. Today they target a sitting president. Tomorrow they will target an opposition convoy, a trader at the market, or a mining investor. These are not democratic actors. They are power brokers who thrive in environments where institutions retreat. The security dimension cannot be overlooked. One commentary titled, "A Security Failure That Could Have Cost the Nation," painted a chilling hypothetical. Let us assume for a moment that what seemed like a harmless situation was actually a gun aimed at the president. The nation would be in mourning today. That thought alone should shake every security official to the core. The writer continued, "It is unacceptable that, in a country with established security systems, such a breach could happen right in front of the people. Those entrusted with the president's protection must take full responsibility." But perhaps the most incisive analysis came from observers who identified the root cause, the Chingola mine dispute. Writer Akinol Muzonda contextualized the violence. The root cause of the protest, the Chingola mine dispute, highlights the struggles faced by small-scale miners in Zambia. The government's clarification that the mine remains under private ownership has fallen on deaf ears, with the Jarabos feeling marginalized and ignored. The situation is a perfect example of how unresolved issues can escalate into violence. The incident has also exposed uncomfortable truths about governance and public frustration. Social media commentary captured the prevailing mood among ordinary citizens. "I think things are not good for UPND on the ground this thing of electricity is eating people." This reference to the electricity crisis. Zambia has been experiencing severe power shortages due to drought affecting hydroelectric generation, suggests that the Chingola violence may be symptomatic of broader discontent. Legal and procedural questions abound. How will the perpetrators be identified and prosecuted? Will the investigation extend to potential organizers or financiers? And most critically, will this incident prompt a comprehensive review of presidential security protocols? Police spokesperson Ray Hamunga issued a stern warning. The Zambia Police Service sternly warns members of the public against engaging in acts of violence, vandalism, or destruction of property, particularly during high-profile national events. Such behavior is criminal and will be met with the full force of the law. Yet skepticism remains about whether such warnings will deter future incidents without addressing underlying grievances, economic hardship, unresolved land and mining disputes, and perceived government unresponsiveness. The incident has become a Rorschach test for Zambian politics. For UPND supporters, it's evidence of opposition desperation and criminality. For government critics, it's a manifestation of policy failures and broken promises. For security analysts, it's proof of systemic vulnerabilities. And for ordinary Zambians, it's a worrying sign that political discourse is being replaced by violence. Thank you so much for watching today's edition of InspirAfrica Official. The events in Chingola have raised profound questions about security, governance, and the state of Zambian democracy. Was this an act of coordinated political sabotage, or the desperate outcry of marginalized miners? Is the UPND losing its grip on the Copperbelt, or were these isolated actors exploiting a vulnerable moment? And most importantly, what must change to ensure that dialogue, not violence, becomes the currency of Zambian politics? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think the government handled this situation appropriately? Should heads roll in the security apparatus? And what's the solution to the Jarabo problem that seems to plague the mining regions? Your voice matters in this conversation. This is not just about politics, it's about the kind of country Zambia will become. We'll be back tomorrow with more news, more analysis, and more stories that matter. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay safe. This is Nakash, signing off from InspirAfrica Official. Peace.